So time now to kick off with our first question for the panel. And that is a very straightforward question on how can open finance moving into the pensions and wealth sectors improve outcomes for consumers. I'd like to put that to Sam first to get us started.
It's pretty fundamental actually, because without clarity, I don't think you can gain control of your finances. And traditionally, wealth management has been less than transparent is the word I would like to use. So the technology, open banking, has really made inroads to surfacing for consumers, you know, what it is that they are using their money for, where it's going, why, how, and open finance extends that beyond their current accounts, credit cards, into pensions, investments, onto the platforms, what is actually happening, where their money is going, how much it's costing. You know, we were on a panel recently where we had, you know, 4 28 to 32-year-olds. They already had 5 pension pots between them, as in each of them already. And I think that isn't going to change. So being able to give people visibility over their money is one of the biggest things we've seen open finance enabling, really.
Yeah, I'd like to move to Dan now, True Potential. Dan, one of the problems that we have in this country, and one of the reasons why people aren't making great decisions or not saving enough, is that they're not getting advice. What role could open finance play in helping people get access to advice?
I agree with Sam that the starting point is about the transparency, which puts the client in control of their financial picture. You mentioned at the start, Josephine, there's £6 trillion of investment or pension assets out there. And then if you boil that down further, there's about 15 to 20 billion pounds of even unclaimed or unserviced pension assets out there at a really approximate guess. So I think it's a great starting point before you even look for an advisor. I think what the consumer wants, and what I love about open banking, is the ability to have everything in one place, to finally put that client kind of in control of their information, but where their assets actually sit.
Thank you. Just moving on to Ross now. Ross, what could open finance offer consumers, particularly in pensions, when it comes to how they experience? I mean, it's quite a clunky experience now. It takes a long time to get hold of your information. It certainly seems as though it's in the 21st century. You can't even get information about your pensions very easily on your app. I mean, could that transform if pensions were to open up?
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, as Sam said, but the biggest problem is that people just don't know. I mean, I think there was a report out last year that said that the average pension report at the moment would leave people to about £13,000 a year in retirement, and they don't know it, obviously. So, or they don't know it easily. But with my own hat on, we're dealing more with the financial advisor market, and luckily those customers are served. Now, that's only 1 in 10 of the UK population. But in terms of how they can benefit from the software we're building, there's still a number of processes in the financial advice market which are just manual. They're not even partially digitized. It's just, it's literally a questionnaire or a form fill, or can you bring in 3 months bank statements? Things like open banking can help with that. We can now allow the advisor just to send out a link. The customer can then log in and we'll feed that information categorized into their back office. So instantly the advisor can be spending that first conversation with the customer, giving them advice, rather than an hour or so asking 101 questions. And it's obviously got to be better for the customer, but it's better for our customer, of course, who's the financial advisor, who not only gets that data to give the advice, but they've got their other compliance responsibilities covered off as well, because of course, they've not just got things like open banking and PSD2 to deal with, they have MiFID 2 to deal with in terms of the reporting. And I suppose we're coming full circle with these digital tools, because there was a lot more customers getting advice pre-retail distribution review in 2012. And as a result of that sort of reduced the advisor market in terms of the numbers. So we're sort of coming full circle now, that something that was relatively okay handled is now going to come back to being okay handled thanks to regulatory updates and technology updates.
Thank you there, Ross. Just moving on to Francesco, what's your take on how open finance might improve outcomes for consumers, particularly people saving for retirement?
there's quite a few experts about pension on this panel. So I want to move the attention a little bit on wealth management, which is something that at TrueLayer we had a pretty hands-on experience, given that we work with some of the leaders in this space, at least from a fintech perspective, like companies like Nutmeg, Free Trade, Stake, Cheap, Plum, and quite a few others. And what we learned is that this is not theoretical. Like, this is something that can happen right now, and open banking is enabling those sorts of use cases. And we identified 3 main areas. The first one is improving the quality of user experience and insights. And this is fundamental to create a habit into consumers about saving money, about be really aware of the importance of saving now for the future, and how to allocate in the right way, in the right balance, and within the full financial picture of whatever is their earnings. The second really practical part is account top up. At the end of the day, you need to select a firm or a service that helps you to save and invest that money. And we have seen that open banking brings down that sort of barrier between your main high street bank account and this wealth of services that can help you out to invest and allocate your money efficiently. And so this brings cost saving to those wealth manager firms, and brings operational efficiency. This is thanks to payment initiation. This is bank to bank transfers. And we have a lot of examples and operational history into that. The third bit is streamlining onboarding. And again, it goes inside of this big topic of friction. Whenever there is friction, consumers are prevented to access the best opportunity to invest their money. Removing friction, it means liberating money. It means enabling consumer and customers to be more aware and increase the number of services that they can use. And so with open banking and open finance, what you can do is to streamline bank account verification, streamline fact checking, streamline a number of paperworks that are usually required in order for you to onboard into new services.